The Dorset Stour has finally calmed down after the floods, start of December, and I've come back to a swim that I fished last winter that's surrounded by big trees, and these trees hang down into the water. You can see the trees here and the flood mark where it's 8 foot above normal. And it's obvious that over the years the trees have got worse and worse and worse. Even since last February, the trees have grown in more and it's quite tricky to fish. Years ago the Stour had its trees cleared pretty much every few years by flood prevention teams who came along with chainsaws and took every tree off the banks. But the last 30 or 40 years the rivers have been neglected. Some clubs are quite good, they keep the swims clear, but this particular bit of water is very quiet, hardly fished at all, and the trees are gradually taking over. Fishing with bread punch and a bit of liquidised bread. The liquidised bread actually dates back to about February, so it's dried out, and I've wetted it so it will sink fairly well. And after the first trot down, I've put a bit more depth on the float. I'm pretty much straight into roach with the odd dace. Really lovely swim, nice steady current on the inside, a bit faster further out. Nice clean gravel bottom. Perfect swim really. Having hooked my first fish, which isn't very big, the problem started. You can see the reeds are getting in the way and the tip of the rod is catching on the overhanging branches. You think you can see the tip of the rod when you're manoeuvring it around, but it's not that easy. And this time I've wrapped the line near the tip of the rod, right around the branches. There's lots of swearing going on now under my breath. The line's there, the fish is still on, the float's got wrapped into the reeds. And of course you've got to be very careful not to break the tip of the rod, which is possible. Unfortunately, after a little bit of jiggling around, I've sorted it out and I'm putting a new hook on, loop to loop. Tie my own hooks, always a 22-inch hook length for standard float fishing, whether it's waggler fishing or trotting with a stick float or an Avon. Little Avon float taking a 3-gram Olivet today. This feels like a much better fish. By this stage I'd had quite a few fish and had learnt that there was a gap in the branches above me, and I was able to bring the rod further round to my right and lift it without snagging the branches. So you've got to look for the best way around that. First net roach, around about £1/2 pound. Just bringing a dace in, and it got alongside that rush bed and it got snaffled by a jackpike, which let me lead it around the swim. And if you're really quick, you can just about get a glimpse of it as it comes up to the top before it splits the dace out. See it now, and gone. And the dace was more or less unharmed. I had one little mark on it, so maybe it lived to fight another day. This sort of fishing is all about a rhythm. Trot, feed occasionally, change the depth a little bit, just try a bit deeper, a bit shallower, explore further down the swim. Can make my mind up about this. Just a small chub, just about liftable, at about £1/2 pound. This feels a lot better. Feels like a much better roach, which is what I really want to get. Just lead it round that rush bed, a few snags around it. You see a lot of flood debris to my right there that wasn't there last winter. There we have it, a lovely roach over £1 pound, good winter condition. Nice and fat. Just slip it back gently. This one decided to get into the reed bed. Fortunately dragged clear, just a reasonable roach, about 6 ounces. Feels like another better roach. Over the course of a couple of hours, I had about 2 dozen roach from this swim, half a dozen dace, 3 or 4 little chub up to 10 ounces, lost 1 or 2 fish, and then tried another swim not too far away and finished up with a chub over 3 pounds and 1 or 2 more net roach. So all in all, a very good 3 hours fishing, all with a bit of bread punch on a 16. This one's not quite as big as that earlier one, but still nudging a pound. An old scar on it, maybe from a cormorant. Until next time, it's goodbye for now.